Hey, what's going on, guys? It's this kid, and now that Dragonflight is a little bit older, I figured I'd go back and complete some achievements that I haven't gotten before, and I figured if I'm doing them, I might as well make a video on them. So here is how to get the Glory of the Tomb Raider achievement solo. So first things first, there's going to be two achievements that are class specific. So the first one, Fell Turkey, is going to require a pet class, so either Hunter or Warlock, and the other one, Skywalker, is going to require a Demon Hunter. So if you don't have either of those, I would level them up, or you're going to need to join a group for one of those achievements. So getting right into it, the first achievement is going to be called Fell Turkey. Now what we need to do for this is get him to cast Shattering Star and break 30 Infernal Spikes. So basically the main point with this is you want to get your pet to tank the boss and just have him sit in one spot, because if he moves around and he topples over the Infernal Spikes, you don't get credit for it. So you want to have him sit in a single spot. The Infernal Spikes are going to pop up underneath you. So what you want to do is as soon as one pops up, move right behind that one and have the other one pop up straight behind it so that they're built up in a line. Eventually he is going to cast Shattering Star, and Shattering Star is a little ball that rolls back. All you want to do is stand behind all your pillars that you've built up and it'll knock them all down. There are three things that I want to remind you of. The first thing is to track the achievement, and whenever it goes from red to white, that means you can DPS the boss and kill him. The next thing is don't destroy these pillars. There's two ways that you can destroy them the wrong way, and that is if the boss tramples over them, or if a meteor falls from the sky and hits it. You'll get a circle around you. It's kind of like a fell looking circle, and a meteor eventually will drop on you. So you want to make sure you're away from those spikes well enough so that they don't get hit by the meteor. Next thing is don't stand on stairs. Whenever you get Shattering Star on you, if you're on stairs, it kind of messes up everything. The Infernal Spikes won't break and there's just too many issues. So just stay on flat ground and stay behind those pillars, and eventually you should get 30. At that point, DPS down the boss and you'll get the achievement. One last thing to note is if he does eventually enrage, you can still get the achievement. He's going to be casting the same exact abilities, he's just doing a lot more damage. So if he enrages, do not give up. You can stick it out, heal your pet, do whatever you can to survive, and do the same process until you get 30. The next achievement is going to be called Grand Finale. This achievement is actually pretty easy. All you gotta do is use a certain toy. It's called McGurgle Horn, and it's going to be coming from the No Shellfish Endeavor achievement. That's basically just doing a couple quests in Legion, and once you get that, you use the toy. It's going to spawn a Murloc during the fight with Harjatan, and you kill the Murloc, you kill the boss, and then you get the achievement. Next achievement is going to be 5-course seafood buffet. This is going to be coming from Mistress Sazine. Now this is actually really hard if you are doing too much DPS. So if you're 70, you might want to get on a 60 or maybe even a 55-ish alt so you can reduce your damage as much as possible. And even on that 55 or 60, you might want to take off all your gear because this is very specific about the damage. Basic idea of this is at around 65 to 60%, the boss is going to spawn a monster, and the monster is going to suck everything up in the room. There's going to be two circles. One is a bigger purple circle, and the other is a smaller blue circle. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get a Murloc really low into that purple circle. We want to do the same thing with one of the eels that she spawns. Get that super low and get that into the purple circle. Eventually, the monster is going to suck up both of those things if we're close enough and they're low enough in that purple circle. And we also want to throw ourselves into the blue circle eventually. It's going to do a bunch of damage, but we have to survive it and then eventually kill the boss. So the main things you want to do here is you want to wait and not DPS the boss until you see a Murloc out. At that point, you want to do a very small amount of damage and slowly DPS down that Murloc until it's at about 20%, 10 to 20%, and then pretty much stop everything, and then damage the boss down to 60 to 65%, get him into that purple circle, and the boss is going to suck up that Murloc. The boss continuously spawns a bunch of these eels, so you'll have a lot of time to kill the eels, and they have a lot more health than the Murloc, so we're not too worried about that. But you want to also get that eel down to about 10 to 20% as well into that purple circle. Now with this achievement specifically, you will have to track it to see any progress. Nothing is going to show up in your achievement log, so you have to track this achievement and you should be able to see the Murloc and eel portions go from red to white. Now the other two portions of the achievement, besides the eel, the murloc, and yourself, those just come automatically, so you don't need to worry about those. So once you've gotten the murloc and the eel down, you can hop into that blue circle, take a bunch of damage, and get back out. Try to use some defensives and stay alive here because it is a good amount of damage. And then once you're ready to get rid of that monster, hop into the purple pools, get a debuff, and then go back into that purple circle by the monster. Eventually he will swallow the purple debuff and that'll get rid of him. Now I do want to stress the damage on the murloc has to be super low, probably way lower than you're thinking right now. Even interrupting him with no gear, no weapons, I sometimes threw him overboard and just killed him. So if you don't have an alive murloc by the time that you're at 65 to 60%, you probably need to wipe because she doesn't spawn any more murlocs. And since interrupting killed him sometimes, the way that I got him into that purple circle once he got low enough was I ran from one side of the circle to the other side, and eventually he followed me and got in that perfect range, and I got the achievement. But this is very specific about your DPS and also surviving that blue circle damage. Once you get all that stuff, you can kill the boss and you should get that achievement. The next achievement is going to be Wax On, Wax Off. This is going to be coming from the Sisters of the Moon. So when you first enter the room that the boss is in, you're going to turn to the left and you should see something named a Twilight Soul. You're going to drag that over into the main boss room. You're going to start the fight with the boss, get them down to about 20%. The Twilight Soul is going to turn blue and turn into a waxing Twilight Soul. At that point you can kill that and then eventually kill the boss and you should get that achievement. The next achievement is going to be called Great Soul, Great Purpose, and this is going to be the exact opposite of the buffet achievement. It's going to be coming from the Desolate Host, and what you're going to need to do is do as much damage in a short amount of time as possible. Basically, you're going to run into the room and you're going to start the fight. You're going to pop everything that you can and get right under the boss. Right under the boss, there's going to be a yellow swirly thing. You want to stand right there pretty much the entire fight and just crank everything you can into this boss. Eventually he is going to die and spawn a different boss. You're going to kill that boss as well, and you should get the achievement if you've done everything fast enough. But basically what happens is there is a little soul. It's going to drop, and it drops in that yellow circle. So once you pick that up, it's going to eventually bounce off of you, but it's going to bounce into the soul world. So what you want to do is you want to kill it so fast that you're able to ignore the mechanic of catching it in the soul world. Now if you can kill both of the bosses fast enough just after stepping in that yellow circle, you should get the achievement. The next achievement is going to be Grin and Bear It. This achievement is going to be coming from the Demonic Inquisition, and this is going to be very similar. You just have to do a bunch of DPS within a short period of time. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start the fight, and you're going to see your torment bar in the middle. It's going to fill up with red, and eventually it's going to get to 100 out of 100, and it's going to glow red. At that point you want to pop everything you can and DPS down the boss as fast as possible. That way you're going to have full torment and you're going to kill the boss just as the achievement says, and you'll get that achievement. I do want to mention for that, the red bar is not to be confused with your screen glowing red. You get that glowing red on your screen a little bit earlier, so you want to make sure that the bar itself is red and not the screen. The next achievement is going to be called Skywalker from the Maiden of Vigilance. Now this achievement, I wouldn't say it is Demon Hunter specific. You don't necessarily have to have a Demon Hunter, but it is just incredibly easier on a Demon Hunter. The main point of this is there's going to be 9 blue orbs that spawn in this room, and you want to collect them all. Now at first there's going to be 1 blue orb that's in the middle of the crater. Collect that, and then there's going to be 4 that are rotating around in that crater. Once you collect those, there's going to be 4 that spawn up above and rotate. Once you get those 4, that's going to be all 9, and you can kill the boss and get the achievement. Now this is probably one of the hardest achievements in this thing, so I'll take a little bit more time to explain the specifics of these. So if you haven't done this fight, basically there are 2 auras that you have. There's like a fel and a light aura, and once the boss either infuses you with a different aura or you hit a ball that's of a different aura, you get a bomb on you, and the bomb is going to go away eventually, but it's going to explode and knock you up into the air. If you are in the middle of the pit, you will be bounced out of that pit. If you're on land, you're going to be boosted up a little bit. So the main two ways to get the bomb are going to be either you just have a holy aura and she casts a spell that's going to put an unholy aura on you. That's going to give you a bomb. Or if you have a holy aura and she starts casting her big orb AoE ability, you get into a fel orb, that's going to give you a bomb as well, and that's going to be very important to know throughout the fight. So for the first orb, she is always going to cast a spell and put the bomb on you herself. So what you want to do if you're a demon hunter is face your back to the middle of the pit. You're going to stand right on the edge, and once it is at about a quarter, you can use Vengeful Retreat, and it'll boost you out of the pit once you get that orb. It's just going to put you in the perfect spot. I don't know how exactly it does that, but it'll be exactly where you want to be every single time. I also want to mention, don't glide after you get boosted out of the pit, because it is going to bug out the boss, and you don't want to do that. It's going to reset, and you'll have to start all over again. For the next four, they are super tricky and super precise, so you need to pretty much just watch exactly what I'm doing. But the basic idea is you get a bomb on you either way. So you're going to either get a opposite orb when she's doing her AoE, or you're going to get the spell cast on you. And once you get that, you're going to walk straight into the middle. Don't walk kind of diagonal, just walk straight. And be a little ahead of the orb so that you fall at the perfect time to get that orb and then get boosted out. This may take a little bit of a long time to get this stuff, but you should be able to get 2 bombs from her AoE and just keep getting those bombs when she's out of her AoE. Eventually you'll get the timing down. If you don't, you can easily just fall into the pit and die and reset, whatever you want to do. But eventually you're going to get to the 4 orbs that are floating above you. And this is the simplest of them all. All you got to do is you get a bomb on you, either way again. You do the opposite orb, or you just wait for her spell to be cast on you. You get the bomb, you stay flat on the surface, you don't go into that pit at all. You get boosted up, and then you're just going to glide once you're kind of at that max height into the orb. And it may not look like the orb disappears right away, but I swear eventually it will. Eventually you'll get all 4, and once you get those 4, that's it. All you gotta do is kill the boss at that point, and you'll get your achievement. So 2 things to mention about this boss. The first thing is going to be, if you want to get her out of that AoE phase, all you gotta do is DPS down the shield on her and interrupt her once the cast bar turns green, because eventually she's going to be doing that AoE and no orbs are going to be coming out, so there's no reason for her to be there. So you want to interrupt her once that's over with and get off to the next phases. The other thing is, sometimes I don't know if it's a bug or not, but she will stop casting spells on you and she won't do the AoE to get orbs out. She'll just stop doing pretty much everything and she'll only hit you with her hammer. You'll notice after about 5 minutes if she hasn't done anything that's abnormal, so you just want to die or shadow meld or just reset however you can, really. The next achievement is going to be Bingo on the Fallen Avatar, so all you want to do with this is do as much DPS as you can throughout the fight. If you're 70, you should easily have enough damage for him to not explode anything, so you're going to get the achievement first try because I trust you. And yeah, that's about it. Just DPS as much as possible on this guy, and you'll get the achievement. Now, the last and final achievement is going to be Dark Souls from Kill Jaden, and it's super easy. All you gotta do is DPS Kill Jaden. Eventually he will fly in the air. You can ignore everything besides these 5 shades that are going to spawn. You want to kill them as fast as possible and do not let them get cast off. If you do that, eventually Kill Jaden flies back down. You can kill him and you get the achievement. But that'll be it. At that point, you get a nice little title and you get a nice little pet. And that is the Glory of the Tomb Raider solo. Thank you.